Hey friends, this is Emily Fort here with the Homeschool Freedom Coalition. I have an urgent legislative alert for parents and homeschoolers in Ohio today, so buckle up. We're coming to you about Ohio's Senate Bill 174, also known as the Judge's Bill. Now, this is being sold as a simple update to current custody law, but once you read what's really inside of it, it's one of the most dangerous shifts in parental rights that Ohio has ever seen. And of course, if it matters for parental rights, it's going to eventually matter for homeschooling rights. So I want to quickly walk through what the bill really does and what it means for families, especially people like homeschoolers and who care about parental freedom. So Ohio's Senate Bill 174 rewrites family law in a way that gives judges, not parents, the ultimate say in over how the children are raised. It starts by creating policy statements that sound nice. Of course, they're always doing this for the children, but they're also totally optional. Courts can choose whether or not they follow these policy statements, okay? So, we want to do what's best for the children. We want to do what's best for families. But then, in reality, they can dump that out the window and do whatever they like. Then it forces courts to appoint a designated parent for custody and parenting responsibilities. That's a big deal because instead of encouraging cooperation, it keeps parents locked in this adversarial system, right? And we get messages here at the Homeschool Freedom Coalition at least several a week, if not every day, of parents stuck in that adversarial system where what the parents want as far as their children's education is being fought over and is being used as a bargaining chip. Instead of encouraging cooperation, they're encouraging parents to, they're pitting two parents against each other. And quite often in those scenarios, medical decisions and educational decisions are used as bargaining chips. And quite often we hear from homeschool moms particularly that now that their spouse is gone, he's now saying something he totally agreed with homeschooling all the way along, but now he's saying in the divorce that he doesn't want them homeschooled anymore and they're asking for help. So this bill just basically repeals shared parenting altogether. Okay, that phrase, shared parenting, would disappear from the law in Ohio. It's being replaced with court-dictated terms like parenting plans. And worst of all, and this is the real crux of the bill, it gives judges complete discretion. Even when, listen, this is the heart of it right here. Even when both parents agree that they want their kids to be homeschooled, or they agree on a certain parenting plan together, the judge can decide that homeschooling isn't in the best interest of the child or children. Okay? Even when there are no allegations of abuse or neglect, and the parents agree, the judge can still decide that what the two parents want can be totally disregarded. The judge knows what's best for the kids, okay? Hopefully you're realizing how critical this is because even if you're not dealing with a divorce or separation situation in your life, you can see the dangerous precedent being set here that a judge gets to decide what's best for a child even when both parents agree on something else, that they don't share the judge's opinion. The judge gets to overrule them even when they agree. Okay, this is extremely concerning stuff. So under SB-174, the courts must create a parenting plan in every single case, even when the parents aren't fighting, even when the parents are fine with the parenting plan they have in place. This allows judges to micromanage parenting decisions, replacing the judgment of good parents, fit parents who aren't fighting with their own idea about what's best for the kids, okay? So another thing, a very risky thing, courts can also restrict parenting time or responsibilities, education. That's why I'm talking to you is about homeschooling, right? Courts can restrict parenting time or responsibilities for any other factor they deem relevant. Okay, this is basically the standard of evidence here is pathetic. They basically have complete discretion to decide which parent gets to decide. All these factors are just totally irrelevant. The judge gets to decide whatever they want. And they can even design and issue a parenting plan entirely of their own. Again, ignoring what both parents might agree to. So, ideally we want a united front, right? That we don't want any more damage to the children than possible and all this stuff. Imagine if mom and dad agree that the kids should stay with mom and they should be homeschooled and the child support looks like this. Well, the judge can just say, no, I've decided that it's best for the kids to go into school, and I've decided that, I don't really care what you two parents want. Imagine the extra trauma and stress and anxiety on those children who, historically may have been homeschooled at home by a stay-at-home mother, to now be shoved on a bus at, 6:30 in the morning. And, their family's already going through, a trauma. The parents are already separating. This is already damaging and painful enough. And now they get shoved into a public school classroom. This is literally do or die stuff for homeschooling. Okay. So we have to think about the fact that we would have two parents fully in agreement, and a judge can totally override them simply because the judge has decided that their plan is better. Okay. This bill would let the courts deviate from any policy if they decide anything is best, right? There's no standard or guardrails. It's just the judge's opinion, okay? And this also would allow, and this is how they wear out a lot of people. This is how they get a lot of families to kowtow to them. But it allows endless investigations and evaluations, all at the parent's expense, even in uncontested cases. So they don't have to prove there's anything wrong with your parenting plan. And you would have to prove there's something wrong with their court-dictated solution. Okay, they're putting the whole burden of proof now, even in uncontested cases, on the parents. This isn't just about divorce. This is about who has the God-given right to decide how to raise and educate our children. Once the courts, and by extension the state, to me, this looks like, again, a bill to codify ridiculous judicial overreach, okay? And once the courts, using this legislation, gain full discretion over parenting decisions, nothing stops them from expanding that authority into other educational choices. So today it's custody. Today it's because there's a divorce, we need to have an arbitrary third party come in, and they don't care how it works out either way. But tomorrow it's we have a legal precedent here in the state that judges get to override parents. Okay. And what happens when the judges start saying, what is it really best for your child to be homeschooled? Is homeschooling really in anyone's best interest? If this happens, our right to direct our child's education no longer comes from God. It comes from a judge. Okay. And so then we're now into having to work around and work through that very expensive, time-consuming system. So here's what we need to do. We need you to do. Take action right now. Below this video, there will be a petition opposing SB-174. Now, this has already passed the Senate. We need every Ohio parent raising their voice before it moves any further. Typically in Ohio, the Senate is kind of the big bad guys of the legislature, right? This is an opportunity for the House to stand up and get loud and defend parental freedom and defend parental rights and defend homeschooling. And we need them to do that. If they're tired, we hear from people in the Senate, they're tired of being kind of bullied around by the more aggressive Senate. This is the chance for the Ohio House to stand up and say, we will not be shoved around by the Senate anymore, especially when it comes to parental rights. This is a big deal. So number one, sign the petition. We need to put pressure on the House. We need to show them there's an opportunity here to turn this garbage bill into a chance for the House to stand up and actually flex their political muscle and kill this bill, or basically strip it of every single part of this stuff and replace it with actual parental rights and actual parental freedom. So step one, sign the petition. Step two, share this video and the petition link in your homeschool groups, in your parenting groups, in all the places that other homeschool moms and other homeschool parents are watching this stuff and are worried about it. The more people who understand what's really in this bill, the more pressure the legislators in Columbus will feel to stop it. And we do think there's an opportunity for that. We are seeing, we've spoken with some insiders in the Capitol in Columbus today. There is pressure mounting from several different camps. And so it's not just us alone that oppose this bill. There are other parental rights and parental freedom organizations and, different folks that care about this bill for other reasons that are also trying to stop it. We need to get loud and we need to do it right away. So as a summary, SB-174 does absolutely nothing to help families, especially when they're going through a difficult time like a custody fight or a divorce. This isn't about helping the families. It's about empowering judges to rule over our families. From our perspective, it looks like this bill is nothing but a bunch of power-hungry judges trying to put into state law the outrageous things they're already doing. And I think they're trying to do it quickly before Ohio passes a full-throated parental freedom bill. You know, they're trying to get ahead of, hey, we need to slap a Band-Aid over what we've already been doing, which is outrageous, quickly before the law changes and, you know, we get what we're doing is, you know, is made illegal, right? So right now, do those two things. Sign the petition, share this video, stay alert, okay? We're going to come, if you sign the petition, we'll be able to email you quickly with updates on this bill. We do intend to have you be able to email legislators directly off this issue so they can hear from you directly. And we're going to be rolling out a bunch more here in Ohio, but the key is to stay alert and to get involved right now while this bill is active and moving. In the meantime, stay free, stay the course.